You've been in a car accident with an uninsured driver, and now you're wanting to know what to do. Keep watching this video. We're going to go through that. I'm going to tell you, number one, make sure you really know it's a UM claim, okay? That's an uninsured driver claim. I'm going to talk through how you do that and what to be careful in looking for. Number two, that you timely notify your insurance company. That's really important. We'll talk about that, how you do it, when you do it, why you got to do it to make sure you can preserve your claim. And then stick around to the end, because then I'm going to go through and tell you what you need to know about what uninsured motorist coverage really is and how it works. That's the real important parts for you to understand as you work through these things. Before we get into it, I want to introduce myself. My name is Ted Spaulding. I'm an Atlanta personal injury trial attorney. Been trying cases for over 20 years now in Georgia and throughout the country. And I started this channel because I'm wanting to impart my knowledge that I've learned over 20 years to try to help you either, one, become a better informed client for someone like myself, and it's a personal injury lawyer, or if you're trying to handle this on your own without a personal injury attorney. Oftentimes you can. I want to give you some helpful tips and tricks on these various topics. That's why I've created this channel, and I hope it really does that for you. So let's dive into this. You've been in a wreck with an uninsured driver. What happens? So number one, make sure it's really an uninsured driver. Now, what do I mean by that? Gosh, Ted, everyone said they're uninsured. They have no insurance coverage. What's there to even look into? Well, here's the trick on that, okay? Look carefully at the police report. The driver, okay, may be uninsured. Or if the driver is not the owner may be uninsured. But that doesn't mean the other person isn't. So what am I talking about? Okay, what if we've got the situation where driver is different from owner, and you're hearing that one of them is uninsured? Well, if the driver isn't uninsured, and that's typically what happens, is the police are looking at owner of vehicle. So what you're hearing uninsured is the owner's uninsured. They did not have auto coverage on that vehicle. Well, what about the driver? If the driver's not the owner, they may have their own auto insurance on their own vehicle. Does it apply? So it may not be an uninsured motorist case to begin with. So don't just go, oh, well, the insurance company said uninsured. Well, what insurance company? And do you understand that there was a driver different than the owner and how all that works? So be very, very, very careful in just assuming uninsured. Number one, you're going to want to get from that insurance company the actual proof of it. Okay? That many times they're wrong and there actually was insurance. It comes down to, oh, they canceled it the day of the wreck. I've had several of those cases, but it turns out they canceled it after the wreck, not before it. So be real mindful. But the big one is when it's a difference between the driver and the owner being two different people. There may be another layer of insurance there, and it's not an uninsured motorist situation. That would be the best scenario for you. So that's number one. Number two, it becomes even more important if it's an uninsured driver situation that you immediately notify your insurance company. Well, gosh, why? Because the trick in all of it is, depending on your state, so the law and your insurance policy, there's provisions in your insurance policy that say you must timely notify your own insurance company for coverage to apply. You've got to have coverage apply because the other side doesn't have any insurance. So only your insurance could cover anything. So you better not violate the policy. Well, what does timely mean? Each state comes up with different definitions of timely. For instance, in my home state of Georgia, case law suggests 90 days is the shortest amount of time that it can then be cut off. That if within the first 90 days you have not notified your insurance company of the wreck, you are barred from using that insurance. Now, 90 days seems like a long time, but if it's getting drug out for whatever reason, investigations, everything else, and you're not getting insurance information, you don't find out it's an uninsured situation until after 90 days. Oops. Now you have violated your policy. You then turn to your policy and they go, hey, you didn't tell us within the first 90 days. For instance, if you're here in Georgia, maybe even more severe in other states. So be very careful. Go ahead and notify your insurance company, regardless of what you know about insurance on the other side, because it could be an uninsured motorist case. But obviously at this point, if you're watching this video, you've already found out that it is uninsured. You better immediately notify your insurance company if you haven't already. So be very, very mindful of that. It becomes all about uninsured motorist coverage. That is very important. Hopefully you have uninsured motorist coverage. That is the final point. What is uninsured motorist coverage and how does it work? So uninsured motorist coverage is coverage you would have on your policy. Now here's the catch. In most states, again, using my home state of Georgia, you are not legally required to have uninsured motorist coverage. You have to have liability coverage to be lawful on the road, but not uninsured motorist coverage. So hopefully you purchased it, number one. It's there for this situation when there is no other insurance to turn to. It protects you, both property damage and personal injury. But you got to be careful. Do you have those coverages and how much did you purchase? Also, what type did you purchase? Because here's where it gets even more complicated. There's two different types. Now, in this situation, you don't have to worry about it because it's uninsured motorist, meaning the at-fault party does not have any insurance. But there's add-on and difference in coverage. In this situation, you don't have to worry about that. So don't get too confused by those monikers of what type. You just want to make sure you have uninsured motorist coverage, and whatever that limit is in this situation, it will apply all the way up to that limit if you need it, both for property damage and personal injury. Now, here's the other catch. There may be multiple sources of coverage. You got to know where to look. So your auto that was involved in the wreck is the first source of coverage. Do you have any other vehicles in the household that are on a different policy? So let's say you're driving a car, has State Farm, but your mother lives with you. She's got her own vehicle and it's covered by Allstate. Well, guess what? Depending on policy and state, mother's insurance, even though her car wasn't involved and she wasn't involved, her coverage might cover you on top of the insurance you have, wise. Or even if you don't have her insurance may cover. It's called resident relative in Georgia, my home state. Most states have that. So do others in your household have coverage? Do you have other vehicles? For instance, motorcycles. Most have to get a separate policy with a separate insurer for the motorcycle. So you got State Farm for your four-wheel vehicle. You've got Progressive for your motorcycle. You might have on the motorcycle. Again, just like resident relative, it would also cover you on top of your four-wheel vehicle State Farm policy if you've got coverage on that bike. Boats, RVs, all of those sorts of things. I literally have had probably my biggest, what we call stacking of policies that I've ever had was 6 different policies. Now, how the heck did that occur? Well, my client was a Delta flight attendant. He lived with his parents because he traveled all the time. So he was young. He lived with his parents. He had his own vehicle, his own insurance on that vehicle. His parents each had vehicles insured by a different insurance company. They also had an RV that had coverage on it. So there ended up being 2 four-wheel vehicles by mom and dad, separate policies. RV, separate policy. Of course, my client's And then guess what? His sister was living with them at the time as well. She had her own auto policy with on it that applied as well. So we got to stack all of those up for all of the available coverage in that case. So you've got to know there could be multiple layers. Don't get sucked into it's only about my vehicle because it was my vehicle involved. Is a totally different animal from liability insurance. In liability insurance situations, it does not follow you, and multiple people's policies aren't going to be involved. It's all about what vehicle. Is different. It follows the person oftentimes. So that is absolutely critical in a case like this where you're dealing with an uninsured driver who has hit you in a car wreck. Got to look at all available policies. Listen, I hope this has helped you. Insurance is a very difficult situation. So when you're hit by an uninsured driver, it oftentimes is one that you want to get with an attorney to at least get advice like I've given you here with your state-specific laws and policy provisions and those sorts of things. You don't want to miss something because you're already behind the 8 ball with the at-fault party not being insured. I hope this video helps you. Please comment below. Questions, thoughts, comments. Love to hear from you, your situation with an uninsured driver. Ask me questions. Please check out any of my other videos on multiple other topics that might be related to your case or situation. And as always, thank you so much for watching this video.